This is the X 2.0. It's one of the cheapest paintball tournament guns, coming in at around $400. And today I am putting this along with an entire beginner setup up to the test by playing a paintball tournament with it. However, this is the XTPL Champions Tournament held at the world famous Paintball Fit in Waxahachie, Texas. And in this tournament, teams can have pro players on the roster and play with them. Therefore, we'll be taking on some of the best players on planet Earth with this beginner setup and a chance to win $5,000. And all along the way, I'm going to be telling you all the details about this beginner gear, and at the end of the video, we're going to total it all up and show you how much it costs, and I'm going to give you my real opinion on if it's really worth it. But this isn't my first time playing in a tournament with a beginner setup. Last year, I came to this tournament with the Mini GS and actually didn't win a single match the whole entire tournament. However, this year I'm on a new squad. I'm playing with Stay Hungry, which is led by Jake Seaball, the newest player on the world champion pro paintball team, Paintball Fit. And with me being new to the squad and my record being pretty poor using a beginner setup in this tournament, I was determined not to have history repeat itself. However, it felt like we were stepping into an Arby's in the Caribbean as we had our first of 4 prelim matches against the Beefy Pirates. And this was the exact same team that knocked me out of the tournament last year. So I was determined to get my revenge. But the Beefy Pirates had different plans. They were able to push up the snake side and catch me in the pack and take the first point. But I was not gonna lay down that easily.
Let's go, baby.
You're hit. Am I?
Even though I wasn't looking so good, the rest of the team was, and they pulled back that point and tied up the match. But that would be the only point we put up, as the Beefy boys had the meats and scored again to put us in a tough position. So with 10.5 minutes of the 12 minutes in the match being gone and us being down, it was time to make a push to win the match.
In a shitty spot right here. Can you blind at the Delta? Yeah, I'm on the Delta.
60 seconds.
Hey, 1 minute! 60!
Seconds. Ten seconds. 3. 1 second left.
Hey, probably hit. If it's there, yeah, at the swing, right?
Swing point.
The Beefy Pirates player went in to hit the buzzer to give them an extra point. However, he was hit, and so that was considered a dirty hang. And with it being under a minute in the match, that gave us an extra point and made the match tied. So the first match of the tournament was going into overtime.
2, 1. the money!
And with that, we were able to outbeef the beefy pirates and get our first win. And I was feeling good. I already had a better record than I had last year with a beginner setup. And the loadout was holding up to this point. So what are the beefier parts to this setup? We're gonna start off with the star of the show, the Axe 2.0. It's made to get people into the sport so they can play competitive paintball with some serious firepower at an affordable price. It's the bigger brother of the more affordable Mini GS, and that means that it has some improved parts over that marker. The biggest thing is it has parts that are easily accessible to clean, like the bolt and the eyes. It has great air efficiency and easier on brittle paint with more volume in the bolt, and it feels better in your hands with more space between the grips, and it comes with everything you need to fix the marker. But after the gun, all you're gonna need is a tank and a loader to get this thing running, and I was using the Empire Halo 2 and also the carbon fiber tank from Empire, and conveniently enough, Empire is the sponsor of today's video. They make the Axe 2.0 and the Mini GS, which are two of the most popular beginner markers. The Empire Halo 2 is the most affordable electric loader on the market, and they just came out with the Pro Shell kit so you can upgrade it, make it work even better. And the 68 cubic inch Empire Mega Light is a great affordable entry-level carbon fiber compressed air tank that can hold much more air than your typical steel tank. This entire setup is actually really similar to the first setup I ever used, which was an Axe Pro, an Halo 2, and the Empire Mega Light tank. And I know a lot of you that were watching have already had your first paintball loadout, so I'd love to hear down below in the comments, what was your first ever paintball setup? And for those of you that haven't had it yet, what would you like it to be? You can get all your custom Empire gear at their website, or if you want to pick up some personal gear for yourself and have it to your door in 2 days, check out lonewolfpaintball.com for all of that. And this loadout was showing out as we took on Amish Rage for our second match, led by the pro Jacob Johnson. But we were one step ahead of them every single way, and we churned the butter on the Amish Rage, winning 4-1. And now we were on to our third prelim match against Ronan. And every single one of these prelim matches matters, because if we don't have one of the top 2 records out of the 5 teams in our bracket, we don't move on to the playoffs. And winning this match would guarantee us a spot in. But Ronan was in the same spot, and they had the seasoned pro from Baltimore Arsenal, Sean Salcedo, leading their charge. So it was time to see which one of us could pull out the win that we both needed. And we started strong with putting up the first point on the board, but Ronan was not going to let us get the second point so easily. But I had been sharpening my sword just for a moment like this, and after starting off good and getting up the field,
That was smooth.
but my entire team died behind me, so now my back was against the wall.
Hey, your boy just popped off.
Wait a minute, that was fucking sick.
Oh yeah, that was dope.
And after that, we went off with almost no hitches.
Nope.
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
And with that, we were able to snatch the katana right out of the samurai's hands and beat Ronan 4-1. But the same couldn't be said for the next match against Shut Up We're Trying. And they were really trying, because they were able to find some holes in our game that we had not been exposed to yet. And they gave us our first loss of the event. And this really allowed us to reflect on everything and figure out what we were doing wrong, because we had to fix it, because we were moving on to the playoffs. And now from here on out, if we lost matches, we were done. And I had mentioned earlier that I was using a entire beginner setup, and that wasn't just the gun, loader, and tank, but also everything that I was wearing from head to toe. I had the Empire events on, which are only $45, and the Empire jersey. And after using these events for the entire tournament, I can say with 100% certainty this is the best mask under $50. The breathability and the comfort are next level. Along with this, I had the JT Classic pants on and the JT Flex harness. Underneath, I was rocking the infamous arm pads, the HK slider shorts, and the Hydra knee pads. And all of this, along with that beginner loadout, gave me the ultimate beginner setup. And we were taking that ultimate beginner setup into the playoffs. However, the team we were playing was some familiar faces. Ronan had made it in by the skin of their samurai swords through a wild card spot, and they got paired up against us. However, one of the biggest sayings in tournament ball is the hardest thing to do is to beat a paintball team twice in one tournament, and they were going to show us just why they say that. We put the first point on the board, but the next point I was put in a 1-on-2 that I couldn't pull off.
And Rowdy gives him a little bit of a back massage.
And Ronan's gonna get this point.
And this is where the tides started to turn.
Tie ball game. One body left alive for Stay Hungry.
Rhino would put up another point and giving them the lead, but I was able to apply some pressure on the Dorito side and help tie the matchup.
MattGymRat gets 1 kill on the D side. Sean gets caught. 4-on-1. Stay Hungry's gonna tie up this match.
But the high wouldn't last for long, as Rhino was able to edge us out and put their
Ronan's
third
gonna take
point
this
on the
point.
board.
1 point lead, 1 minute and 2 seconds.
And with only a minute left in the match, we had no option but to send it.
Hit the bunker a lot,
With me putting that point on the board, we were tied up, and with no time left, we were going into overtime.
Yeah. Hey, Dorito 2! Dorito 2's gonna go! Hey, stay 2! Stay 2, Dorito 2! Dorito 2, Dorito 1! Hey, Dorito 2, Dorito pulled the sneak level 100 out on him.
All that time sneaking in Skyrim paid off, and we were able to push our way into the semifinals, where we got matched up against another meaty opponent in the Beefy Boys. And the Beefy Boys were led by the world champion and head chef, Scott Stewart. But at this point in the tournament, the Emperor had found his new groove, and we had so many tests throughout the tournament that we felt like we were ready for anything. And even though I took an early death, the boys were able to close out point 1, and we took that energy into point 2, where we took that one as well. But there was 3 minutes left on the clock, and the Beefy Boys had plenty of time to come back. So we started off good. We got into some positions that were hard for the Beefy Boys to dig out, and then we dug in, and it was time to hold down the fort. We didn't want any beef with the Beefy Boys, but playing against the reigning world champ, Scott Stewart, he was not going to go down that easily. Scott was able to make a great move and make me look like a nerd, but Jake was able to catch him afterwards. And with that kill, we took the meat out of the Beefy Boys push and secured our way into the finals. But before we put this beginner setup to its final test, I wanted to tell you how much all of this costs. Now, all these prices are coming from lonewolfpaintball.com, but the loadout itself cost us $650. Then the total sum of all the gear that I wore with it was $450, making it a total of $1,100 for this entire beginner setup. And here's my honest opinion about it all. Some of the gear like the X 2.0, the tank, the events, and the jersey are all affordable gear for entry-level players. However, there are upgraded versions of this gear available to you. So once you get the bug and you're hooked on playing tournament ball, you're gonna want to look to upgrade. But there's another side to this. The gear like the Halo 2, pants, pads, and pod packs are all things that any skill player can use, and they'll last you for years. So once you buy them, you won't be looking for replacements anytime soon. And saying that, we had one last test to put all of this gear up to. It was against the Hot Tamales, led by one of the best players on planet Earth, the 2-time reigning NXL champion, Jonathan Chavez. So it was time to see if this beginner setup could help me pull out the most important match of the entire tournament.
Let's go, baby. Let's take her home. 3, 2, 1.
We start off with a slow and methodical push. I was able to get out wide and get up the Doritos really far with some sneaky moves and some good reactions.
MattGymRat and Jacob Seabaugh pushing on the D side.
Once I crossed to the other side of the field, I was able to bring some heat to the Tamales and have some fortunate turns in my favor to win the first point.
All right, first point is going to go to Stay Hungry.
But they would have a different plan for the second point. I was able to make the risk out wide alive and then play patient enough to catch the Dorito player moving.
Hey, kill the beast! Kill the beast! Lucy!
But Chavez had filled out immediately and hit me with a sniper shot straight out of Saving Private
Chavi
Ryan.
does a good job filling out. Gets a shot immediately. So Chavi dives out to the turret, and his first ball hits MattGymRat.
Jake was able to make a move out wide and get down the field. However, Chavi was on a sniper elite status and also caught Jake down the Doritos and then cleared out the rest of the field, bringing the score back to tied.
Now we got a tie ball game.
But the next point would be different. I went short this time and looked for my opening. Once I found it, I made my way all the way down to the 50 Dorito. Once I was there, I just held position and the guys behind me slowly picked off the last few of the Tamales.
2 bodies left alive for Hot Tamales. Tamales towel.
We were going into the fourth point being up by 1, and the last breakout worked, so we did it again. However, the Tamales risked it out wide and made it and matched Chavez heads up with me.
Chavi makes it out to the Delta.
So I had 2 guys out wide shooting at me, making it really hard for me to live in that can, and eventually they were able to pick me off.
Oh, they get a shot in on MattGymRat.
And at the same time, Jake tried to fill behind me and got caught in transition, and it put us immediately in a bad spot.
3 minutes left in the match. 1 body left alive, just Yosh again here in the snake. Towel hungry.
And the Tamales were able to heat up and capitalize on it and made the game tied. Now there was less than 3 minutes left in the match, and how long these points have been taking, the next person to score was going to have the advantage. But what came next was one of the most nail-biting points I've ever been a part of.
The lights are on.
Yep.
Let's just have some fun, dude.
Yep. 5, 4, 3,
2.
Hey, tell me when he starts shooting it!
However, they do get a shot in on Mills on the D side, so it's a 4-on-4.
Yeah!
Oh, MattGymRat taking a walk on the D side.
And with me being the second body to die on the team, we were left in a 3-on-4, but we weren't quite done.
4-on-3 body advantage for Hot Tamales. Just as I say that, Henry's walking off. 3-on-3 now. It's gonna be interesting to see what you guys are gonna try to break open this game.
45 seconds.
Oh wow, and they get a shot in on Chavi. This is their opportunity. They have to send it.
Seconds.
That's it. Stay hungry. It's gonna run this in. That's a good point. Congrats, Stay Hungry.
This beginner setup is good enough to hang with the pros and win a tournament. It's good enough for you. I'll see y'all later.